Yes. Shout out to Philip P for the intro. We appreciate you so much. I'm gonna let it ride out. We are live on the Hot Minutia. My name is Barry Long II, not the first, not the third. We are live on Today's California. We're live on CoachellaValley.com. We're also live on Today'sCanada.com. Let me bring in my main man, Rudy Ramon Reyes. Rudy, you looking fresh with your Pro Bowl gear on right there.
Yeah, it's a little throwback to 2008. It's a Ben Roethlisberger Pro Bowl jersey. I just thought I'd throw this whole thing on because the NFL season is right around the corner, not to mention the NFL draft, which is happening at the end of April. So I'm very excited. If anybody looked at my Instagram, you'll see that my shoes are on point. It is a blue game.
Oh my goodness. Why didn't you tell me before the show so I could have put a picture of your shoes on?
Hey, it's not going to be the meme of the day. I can tell you that. I mean,
bro, your shoes make me look in the mirror and say, yo, Barry, you need to step your shoe game up all the way up.
It's all about shoe game, baby. Because nowadays, you got your left foot in, your right foot out, but no one's doing the hokey pokey except for Ben Simmons. This guy is softer than the other side of the pillow. The great Stuart Scott said this on ESPN when he was there prior to his departure. And this guy is just he claims to say, and this is his, we weren't tough, we were soft.
Yeah.
And he goes on to suggest that his team is the problem. Well, hold on a second. Let's think about this. Ben Simmons hasn't played a meaningful game of basketball in what, almost an entire year?
Yeah.
So for him to call his team out and say that they're soft, that they played soft, he's the one who's softer than the other side of the pillow. That's Ben Simmons. You don't even have a hot knife to run through that butter. Are you kidding me? Ben Simmons is a guy that needs to look himself in the mirror and think before he speaks, because he's the softest NBA player that I know. Okay, fine. League-wide, not a whole lot of defense.
I mean, he's pretty soft. But the softest player ever?
Yes, he's the softest to ever play the game. Well, I have mental issues. I have problems. Look, everybody has problems. Some people have deeper mental issues than other individuals do. But you're a professional athlete. At least I think Ben Simmons is professional. He hasn't quite shown that to anybody, not even to himself. So he goes on to suggest that he wants to be out there, but yet isn't ready to be out there. Yeah. And then you have guys like Kyrie Irving, who basically is blaming himself because of the knee issue, saying that he went down too gingerly on that mega loss last night against Miami, and it's just as if they're falling apart. I mean that physically, not from a game and constructive standpoint. But yeah. Look, Kyrie Irving is made to feel not Kyrie Irving, excuse me. Kevin Durant's made to feel this way because of the situation, because of how badly that loss was yesterday against Miami. Joel Embiid did himself no favors at all, missing easy layups.
Joel Embiid. You keep saying Joel Embiid. It's Joel Embiid.
Joel Embiid. I've said his name.
Put some respect on that man's name.
Well, the only thing I'm going to put in his name on respect for is he wins that MVP. Just saying.
Absolutely. We will talk about it. We'll talk about the NBA standings because it's getting dicey on both sides of other conferences. And you got Eastern Conference, it's wide open. You got the Western Conference that could be potentially wide open. The Lakers are on the brink of being eliminated from everything, from all contention. LeBron has stopped playing. We found out that Frank Vogel will not be the coach of the Los Angeles Lakers next year. We will discuss that. I want your opinion on who should coach the Lakers next season. But we'll get to that. Tiger Woods is also back. Are you excited for Tiger Woods?
I'm beyond excited. This guy has been through heck and back. Now, let's put this in perspective. The vehicle he was driving was crashed. It was demolished. The floorboard came up underneath him. He was badly injured. I'm glad to see him back on the Masters tour. Was it self-inflicted? Quite possibly. He was already on a cocktail mix of Quaaludes and some other components. And of course, when you have money, stuff like that just seems to go away. Ask Robert Kraft, ask Jim Irsay, ask half the people, and even those that are in entertainment, how money can make things go away.
You say Quaaludes?
Well,
that's the only thing I know about Quaaludes is Bill Cosby.
Or you mean the ones that he has given to other people? Yeah,
Jello.
That's a little
Bill Cosby.
Self,
Bill Cosby
a little
deserves
Jello
like. All right, we also got to talk about the Final Four. We've got a champion. UNC lost a 15 or 16-point lead, and it was a debacle by the UNC Tar Heels. But Kansas ultimately won the championship. That's who everybody picked going into the finals, and it was a great game, and we'll talk about that as well. But let's start with Tiger Woods. Okay, Tiger Woods. We know that he's been going through the ringer the last few years, and anybody that knows anything about the Coachella Valley, you know that we love our golf out here, and we're on CoachellaValley.com. Tiger Woods he's won 5 Masters, the last one being in 2019. And the Masters, Augusta, that's why he looks so fresh in that green jacket, because we know Tiger Woods to be one of the masters of golf. And it has been a crazy conundrum throughout his entire career the last few years. He got into the accident. Before the accident, he got into the whole situation where he was found out that he was not being faithful to his wife, and that it was crazier than what we initially thought. He's just been through a lot, and the injuries that have compiled up on him, the mental issues that he's had. Everybody knows that Tiger Woods was golf at one point. He was the reason why you got Ricky Fowler and DeChambeau and all these guys hitting the ball hard. He's the reason why golf became one of the fan favorite sports to watch on a Sunday afternoon, because Tiger Woods was playing. And when Tiger Woods stopped playing, the golf ratings went way down. And they know that when Tiger Woods is playing, they're going to make more money. They're going to get more eyeballs on the TV. And what better way to have Tiger Woods come out of retirement, like Tom Brady, at the Masters? And I feel like this is his course. He always does well at Augusta, and I am excited to watch him. What say you, Rudy Reyes?
Well, he was the first African-American to win outside of the predominantly Caucasian males that were playing golf at that time, and still remains a guy that crowds need to have him around. Crowds need to watch Tiger Woods. His practice was as if there was a football game with fans in makeshift stands. It looks like they were standing on each other's shoulders. I mean, there were so many people there just watching him practice, just watching to see his swing, his movement, his hip movement, his foot placement, his hand on the irons and on the clubs. I mean, look, golf needs Tiger Woods.
Absolutely.
Bottom line, the guy has done so many great things. He's very humble. He gives the pay due to everybody moving forward. Fred Couples, all those who came before him to win in Augusta, but he broke the barrier like it is going to be Jackie Robinson Day in Major League Baseball. When that opens up, Absolutely. It's certainly something to look forward to when you watch golf. Without Tiger Woods, it wasn't the same. And it hasn't been the same since he's been out. So it's been an entire year since he's played golf, a meaningful game of golf anyway. Last tournament I think he played was with his son, and it was a very small tournament. But
and shout out to Charlie Woods, because the way you just described, Tiger Woods' mannerisms and just the way that he pumps his fist. And when there's a video side by side, Charlie and Tiger Woods, and they have the same exact mannerisms. And it's almost like Charlie studied his dad the way Kobe Bryant studied Michael Jordan. And he's a young kid, but I'm excited to watch what Charlie can do. But I think that Tiger Woods has a master or two left in him to win.
He does. He definitely has the capabilities. He has the knowledge. Augusta has always been good to him, and he's always been good to Augusta. He has won multiple majors, 5 majors there. And overall, this guy is almost indestructible when you think about the amount of issues and problems that he's had in his life. As you mentioned, Barry, it was about him cheating on his wife. He had made some type of reconciliation to a point where now he's training his son. He's showing his son the ways of the golf force, if you will. And when you look at the way that he's done it and the relationship he has with his son, kudos to him for keeping that intact. Now, all he needs to do is win a Masters. Will this be his last Masters if he goes on to win it? That's a bigger question, because he's not getting any younger. He's getting older. And of course, in February, he was obviously admitted to being frustrated with the recovery process and basically wasn't sure whether or not he'd be able to play an entire PGA tournament. And it just makes sense that he's back. How strong he is, if he's going to last all those, courses and pars, it really depends on his physical nature if he can keep up with the game. He says that he is. He's scheduled to tee off, and I think he will. And he's thinking. I believe he's going to make a run of it.
I absolutely think that anytime Tiger Woods is in the field, then obviously he has a chance to win, especially at Augusta. Like you said, he owns that course. But you know what? I think that we should all take his return with a grain of salt. I mean, it's exciting to know because when he came back in 2019 and won the Masters, everybody was like, oh my God, he's back. He's going to win many more majors. And he really didn't. He kind of faded out. But he's 46 years old. And we know the PGA Tour is littered with guys that are 40 plus. I mean, and you got the young guys, the young guns that are coming up and they're hitting the ball a mile away. And it's because of Tiger, because Tiger was the first one that really took physical training seriously when it came to golf. Golf used to just be a gentleman's game. He took it and made it a man's game. And that's the reason why you have this surge of talent, this young talent that's all excited about the game. You got Ricky Fowler wearing his flashy colors. You got Spieth. You got DeChambeau. You got a lot of guys. And there's more Americans right now that are interested in golf that are playing at a high level on the PGA Tour than ever before, and it's because of Tiger Woods. But I would tell everybody, let's be cautious. Let's pump our brakes. We know Tiger's great at this course, but Tiger Woods, sometimes you got to play a couple games, a couple tournaments before you get back to being who you originally were. So I don't think that this is going to be some kind of crazy love story with Tiger and Augusta. I don't think he'll be wearing the green jacket at the end of the day, but I do think that he'll be in the top 5 when it's all said and done. And I'm excited to see his return. And if he plays well, then he might continue on the tour, and we might see Tiger Woods for the next 10 years. Because at his age, I feel like he should be able to be able to play for another 10 years.
Well, like I said, I believe that Tiger can go all the way. He has the capabilities. He has a mental fortitude. Whether or not he can put that together and create some type of symbiotic relationship between him and the ball and its clubs, then I don't see any reason why he can't go through with it. The only thing.
So are you picking him to win? Are you picking him to win?
I am picking him to win. And there's only one reason why, is because he's done it 5 times already. It's not as if you could just go out there. Look, every time I slice the ball, every time I make an attempt to play golf, my ball goes to the right or to the left. There is no
slice
fairway. I can't even spell fairway with the golf ball. It's not even fair. It's not fair when I slice the ball. It's like, give me a piece of pizza for every ball I slice. I mean, it just doesn't work that way. So I think when you look at Tiger Woods and his capabilities and what he can put together and assemble, I think Tiger Woods can go all the way.
All right. Well, that remains to be seen. But shout out to Tiger. Golf is not the same without Tiger, and now he's back. And hopefully he's back to stay. We are live on CoachellaValley.com, today'scalifornia.com, today'scanada.com. Please comment and let us know that you're watching and tell us what you think about what we're saying right now, because this is the hot minutia. And minutia, people have approached me and said they don't know what minutia means. It means the intricacies, the small details, right? Right, Rudy?
Smallest of details, the smallest of information. So like it, love it, share it, comment on it, because we just like that kind of thing. And it helps give us a little bit of feedback and food for thought for the next show. So it's always good to have those types of insights in. And I can honestly say that it really kind of helps feed me while I'm on the show. Just keep feeding.
like a running back, like Ezekiel Elliott.
Just feed me, baby. Feed me all day. That's right.
Now let's talk about the Lakers. Now, Frank Vogel, we just found out that Frank Vogel is now about to be parting ways with the Los Angeles Lakers after this season. And it's been a long time coming, because we've known that Frank Vogel, like his main thing about coaching is defense. Every single team that we've ever seen Frank Vogel coach has been defense first. Even back to his days in Indiana, when the Lakers won a championship in the bubble, it was all about defense first. And it's been a debacle. The Lakers are now on the brink of not making the play-in tournament. And LeBron James has reportedly been shut down this season. And it's been a hot mess. It's been a hot mess for the Lakers this season. And I'm asking you right now, okay, before I give my opinion, who is to blame for the Lakers debacle this season? Is it Frank Vogel? Is it LeBron James? It can't be LeBron James. Is it the role players?
It's everybody but LeBron James.
Frank,
but LeBron James. Frank Vogel's really a part of that. Rob Pelinka is also a part of that. And of course, you have all these guys on TV talking about, oh, they should bring back Russell Westbrook. No, they should bring back AD. No,
okay.
No.
So you're done with Russell and you're done with AD.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. See ya. Have a good one.
I'm
AD is another soft guy. Okay, fine. So he already won his chip. Next. No team wants to take a chance on him because he's always
he might have soft bones and soft cartilage, but he's not soft.
He's soft when he gets injured too much. Are you kidding me? He's like a dog that has 3 legs. He's got one eye he can see out of, and his name is Lucky. He's lucky to be on the court. The best ability is availability. We've talked about this before. And the fact that the AD is constantly hurt, teams don't want to take a chance on him because they know that he's hurt and he's injured quite often, quite frequently. He's only played not even half of the games this season.
Absolutely. I understand that. But let me ask you this question, okay? Do the Lakers win that championship in the bubble without AD?
No.
Exactly. Okay.
But Anthony Davis of 2 years ago is not the Anthony Davis of now. And they need the Anthony Davis of now, right this very minute. They need AD. The problem is that his health makes him unreliable in the starting lineup or even coming off the bench for that matter. The guy is soft, not as soft as Ben Simmons, right? Because we think of Simmons. Simmons goes with Sealy, insert a mattress. You know how soft those are. Simmons is also soft, but AD is soft from an injury standpoint. And you could think that
are you telling me that a guy that is injury prone is soft automatically? I think that he may be soft with his approach to taking care of his body in the offseason and the way that he doesn't spend $1 million a year on his body the way that LeBron James does. But I think that he's just injury prone. But I wouldn't say soft because we've seen AD put on muscle mass, go out there, and he's played the 5, he's played the 4. And literally, when he's on the floor, the Lakers are a total different team defensively with his long arms, his long wingspan, and his ability to protect the rim. So
but when he's injured, he is soft. He makes everybody else soft. He makes a rotation without him soft. I'm sorry. You don't give the ball to Westbrook, whatever, same guy. You don't give the ball to him in the last waiting seconds of any given game. You don't give the ball to you in the ball 99.99% of the time because of how the Lakers are structured right now is to LeBron James, but he's also missed quite a few threes here and there. So it's not as if you can blame this solely on AD. You blame it on the contract. You blame it on Pelinka. You blame Vogel for the lack of defense that this team has yet to exhibit. They do have some new pieces and they like to shuffle in this and that. Look, this season's done for the Lakers. Okay. I expect Vogel to be released. I expect Pelinka to possibly be released. Depends on the relationship that he has with Jeannie Buss. Jeannie Buss needs to redo this. She needs to have more conversations with Phil Jackson. She needs to converse more with Magic Johnson. She needs to converse more with the football know-it-alls in the league. Now, I'm not going to say Magic Johnson did them any favor.
Magic Johnson ain't coming back.
No, I'm not saying that he's coming back. I'm saying that from an objective consulting standpoint, Magic Johnson is not the guy you go to. But the first person who's least of all has anything to do with why this Lakers team is melting down is not LeBron James. I can tell you that right now.
And I agree. LeBron James should not be considered the reason why the Lakers have had a debacle. LeBron James literally has balled out. They're 4-16 in their last 20 games. And LeBron James is averaging over 50 points. My man LeBron James has been balling at an all-time high, and he simply had no help. And I do believe that there is a major share of responsibility on the inability to be available for Anthony Davis. But I feel like calling him soft is going too far because we've seen him play at a high level when he's healthy. That's like saying anybody in the NFL or NBA or MLB is soft because they're being injured. Maybe they have soft bones, they're soft cartilage, but Anthony Davis, when he's balling, okay?
And when he doesn't contribute to his own success by getting the type of conditioning, body conditioning, mental strengthening,
then he's stupid, but he's not soft.
And be durable. No, he is soft because he doesn't take care of himself the way that he should. That makes him more injury prone than anybody else. James Harden can attest to that because James Harden himself knows exactly what it is to be out of shape. He's soft. He can blame his own self for the lack of productivity that he has every time he touches a court. So you can't tell me that AD has done absolutely everything he possibly could to be a better player. No, he has not. That's the problem. That's the problem onto itself.
Now, let me ask you this, okay? Because the Lakers are obviously going to be in a head coaching search starting as soon as the season ends, whether it ends in the play-in tournament or it ends in the first round of the playoffs or it ends in the next couple of games. Frank Vogel is obviously gone. And there is an assistant coach who has been dying to be a head coach again in this league, and David Fizdale. Who do you think should be the Lakers' next head coach moving forward?
It's not going to be Fizdale. The problem is that you have to be a guy, a formidable coach, a great coach. And I'm not talking about Chips, and I give him all the props of what he's doing, what he's done in New York, but he's a replacement coach, okay? And in other words, he's completely replaceable. Be quite honest with you, there are only some coaches out there in the NBA who are completely not, how can I explain this, not replaceable. The non-replaceable guys are the guys that are still there. The ones that are replaceable are guys like Frank Vogel, Chibbs, and David Fizdale runs into the same exact fairway. Per se, we're talking about Tiger Woods and Furrow. I guarantee these guys play golf in the offseason, which will happen a lot sooner than later for David Fizdale. But when you look at Fizz, he fizzles in, but then he fizzles out. And that's the problem I have with David Fizdale, and the fact alone that he is one of the replaceable coaches who cannot contain and capture these guys' attention, much less be able to have them for as much time as humanly possible once they're on the court, and to manage these type A personalities from guys like LeBron James and AD and Westbrook. And it just doesn't.
Well, let me tell you this. I think that
he's not the long-term solution.
He's not the long-term solution, but David Fizdale has gotten into the ear of the role players, and he's gotten into the ear of LeBron James. And we remember LeBron James was with the Cleveland Cavaliers, and they had David Blatt, who was the Israeli coach from, the international coach that didn't get the respect that he was garnered, because in the international game, he was one of the top. He's like a Phil Jackson of international basketball. Comes into the Cleveland Cavaliers, bumps heads with LeBron James. You got Ty Lue, who was a player coach kind of guy. And Ty Lue just knew that as soon as David Blatt gets fired, he would eventually step into that role as the starting, as the head coach. And it worked out beautifully for them. And I feel like David Fizdale may not be the best head coach that you could possibly draw up, but I understand that he is in the ear of LeBron James and all these other guys, and he believes in them. And I feel like David Fizdale is the best option right now. Yeah. They're talking about maybe getting Quinn Snyder to come away from the Jazz. I don't see Quinn Snyder leaving that team, and Donovan Mitchell. They're also talking about Doc Rivers. They're saying if Doc Rivers doesn't work out and win a championship in Philadelphia, he might be a candidate. I feel like right now the candidates for the Lakers jobs are not going to be as prevalent as it would have been in the past when the Lakers job is open, because it's not the greatest job in the world right now. It really isn't. The roster sucks. You got LeBron James, who's aging. You got to figure out what you're going to do with Westbrook and also AD. And I feel like David Fizdale, who has a terrible, terrible record as a starting head coach. As a matter of fact, he is 71-134. But we have to remember that his teams, 71-134. We have to remember that his teams that he's been coaching were terrible teams with no superstars. The Knicks, go back to the Grizzlies, like every single spot that he stopped at, he had no real superstars and no real chance. I feel like he may be an answer, at least temporarily, until they can find the coach moving forward for the next few years.
It sounds like a quarterback carousel in the NFL, because the talent pool for backup quarterbacks in the NFL is very similar to the talent pool of head coaches in the NBA, because these guys find a way to make themselves likable, to sell themselves like they're Eskimos selling igloos to another Eskimo who knows what an igloo does, who knows how to put one together and build it himself.
Shout out to Eskimos.
Yeah, you go, Eskimo. Eskimo, you go. But, this is exactly what the issue is. Recycled talent, recycled coaches, and recycled backup quarterbacks. This is
so give me somebody right now who should be
the problem is that there isn't. There is not. Just like there is no serviceable backup quarterback right now, unless your name is A, Colin Kaepernick, B, Baker Mayfield. But right now you don't have an outstanding front runner head coach who's been a secondary coach in the NBA.
David Fizdale.
Because he's already there. That doesn't mean he's the best solution. Doesn't mean he's the solution for the Lakers in the long term. Are you kidding me? Again, this is the carousel that keeps carouseling. And that is NBA head coaches who should be there should be a bigger talent pool for NBA head coaches. I understand these guys aren't going to grow on trees, but man, they have to be able to talk the talk and walk the walk. And I don't mean just during the interview process. I'm talking about connecting with the players to want to play for you.
Yes. And that was my point about David Fizdale. Is he's connected with the players like Ty Lue was connected with the Cavaliers. But
every single stuff he's made has been nothing but fizzled in and fizzled out. And that's exactly what could very well happen.
Are we going to call him David Fizzled out?
He may as well be David Fizzle, or somebody left the Coke. Somebody left the top right off the Coke bottle, because without carbonation, Coke doesn't taste like Coke, does it?
And ginger ale doesn't taste like ginger ale. We are live on CoachellaValley.com, live on today'sCalifornia.com, live on today'sCanada.com. Now let's look at the NBA standings real quick, because it is coming down to the minimum. Like, we're gonna find out who's gonna win the West. You got the Suns right there. You got the Grizzlies. The Warriors are still competing, and Steph Curry is reportedly going to be healthy in the playoffs. You got the Nuggets, the Mavericks, Luka. You can never count Luka out. The T-Wolves. I feel like after the Jazz, it's going to be like there's nobody that has a chance in the West. Who do you say wins the West? I will tell you right now that I pick in the Western Conference Finals, I pick the Phoenix Suns against the Golden State Warriors. And if Chris Paul is healthy and doesn't get nicked up and have to miss a game 3 or a game 5, because Chris Paul always seems to be nicked up during playoff runs. I feel like if Chris Paul is healthy and Chris Paul is Chris Paul and not Cliff Paul from State Farm, then I feel like the Phoenix Suns will defeat the Golden State Warriors, and I pick them to come out of the West. What say you, Rudy?
I'm going to say he's going to have a really good insurance package in order to keep him from getting nicked up.
I love it.
and the problem I have with that is that Chris Paul always finds a way. Always finds a way to get injured. You're right, Barry. There's no doubt about that. But, if Chris Paul can play like I've seen him play over the year in, year out, for all the teams that he's played for, I think not only do the Suns have a chance to get out of the West, but they have a chance to win it all.
And you know what? The thing about NBA is chemistry means a lot. And we saw the documentary with The Last Dance and how long it took Michael Jordan to finally get the right team. And they lost a lot of times when they finally had the right team, but it was chemistry that ultimately got them over the top. And I feel like Phoenix Suns have been building this team for a while. DeAndre Ayton and Devin Booker. Chris Paul comes and provides that leadership that they need. But when you watch this team play on a random Tuesday, like tonight, shout out to Taco Tuesday. But if you watch them play on NBA TV, then you're like, man, because they're not always on the primetime games on ESPN, ABC on Sundays. But when you watch a game of the Phoenix Suns, they are for real. And their chemistry is what really sets them apart from the rest of the teams in the West. And I like the Phoenix Suns, and I feel like, yes, they have a potential. With the East being so wide open, they will win it all, in my opinion. But the East is a beast. And we've got teams out here. We had the Bulls that were running the table at one point during the season. You've always, this is one thing about you, Rudy, that I admire, because you saw the Celtics when they were down like in the 5, 6 seed, and you were so gung-ho about Jason Tatum and this Celtics team making a run. And all of a sudden we blink, and now they're 2 games out of the number 1 seed, and they're right behind the Miami Heat, and they look like a formidable team to come out of the East. But the East, in my opinion, is so wide open. I would have to pick between the 76ers and the Bucks. And despite what Kyrie Irving's been able to do playing in home games, I really do like the 76ers and their newfound chemistry between Joel Embiid, and James Harden. But I feel like the Bucks will ultimately win in a 7-game series. And I feel like it would go to 7 games. And even if it's in Philadelphia, I think that Giannis and Chris Middleton will be able to pull it out, because they know what it takes to win championships. So I am picking Phoenix versus the Milwaukee Bucks in a rematch of last season. What do you say about the Eastern Conference?
It's kind of easy, and I've said this before. Celtics are good, but they're going to end up fizzling out. Milwaukee Bucks have been absolutely on on fire. I mean, Giannis has done everything to stretch the floor. He's a willing passer when he needs to. He's a shooter when he needs to. Look, these guys are just too good right now. They have a lot of depth, and they have the capability of going back to back. And to be honest with you, they're going to give Phoenix a run for their money if matches prevail, and that's exactly what ends up happening. This set could go to 7 games, and I see it going to a decisive 7th game. Milwaukee has the propensity of getting there, but the Phoenix Suns also have the ferocity between T-Book and Chris Paul.
You just use propensity and ferocity, my man. shout out to Merriam-Webster.
they got it, whoever she is. But when you look at it at the end of the day, I know exactly who it is. Thank you.
All right, go ahead. I'm sorry.
The collegiate dictionary of all dictionaries. But speaking of dictionaries, this is a win. This is a win for the NBA. This is a win for the Milwaukee Bucks to get back to a championship game that has, something they're familiar with. They have that playoff experience. They have the championship experience. The only thing I'm concerned with is that Phoenix does not have
Phoenix. But look, sometimes when you lose a championship, you come back the next year and you win that championship. We saw LeBron James do it with the Cleveland Cavaliers. We've seen a lot of teams do it. And I feel like Phoenix is primed to do it. And real quick, shout out to Naomi Vec, who is listening in from the Philippines. She shouts us out.
Hello,
and we appreciate everybody tuning in. But so are you definitively picking Milwaukee versus Phoenix?
If it goes to that matchup, yes, I'm going to pick Milwaukee.
And who do you picking Milwaukee to win it all? Back to back.
Win it all. Yep. If for some reason Milwaukee's ousted, I think the Celtics will end up going down at the hands of Phoenix.
Well, shout out to Rudy Reyes. Now, let me ask you this real quick, because we don't talk a lot of college basketball because that doesn't really move the needle. But college basketball has been great in this Final Four. We saw Coach K get defeated by the UNC Tar Heels in a Final Four matchup, the last game he would ever coach. And UNC, they would love nothing more than to end his career in the Final Four against the team that is the number one rival to Duke. And it was sad to watch, but it was a great game. One of the greatest Final Four games we've seen. But we watched UNC give up a 15-point lead and lose to Kansas. What are your thoughts on that game real quick?
Well, it was actually a fantastic game. It was just kind of sad that the corrections were not made by UNC, just as they were made by Kansas coming into the second half. Sharing the ball, sharing is caring, as we know in college basketball. Get it to the right guys when you need to, surrounding the paint, making those shots count, staying in the paint, getting the rebounds, resetting the clock, getting the quality shots. They just ended up making the corrections, whereas UNC just had control over the first half. Why they didn't stay with that methodology is, well, beyond me. I understand Bacon went down with an ankle sprain. I get that. But at the same token, that didn't necessarily, and the saddest part about that is that it was in the defining moments of that game, to be quite honest with you.
Yes.
But as I said before, this is a 2 or 3 point game. And that's exactly what it was to win. And the Kansas Jayhawks certainly were able to pull it out. It was a 3-point game. And
you called it. You called it, man. You called it. And the thing is that UNC was moving the ball so well throughout the first half, and all of a sudden it just died out, and it was kind of hard.
Bacon went out.
And if you go back to the last possession when they had 3 chances to win the game, or to at least tie it up and send it to overtime, and they just could not find the open guy, and it was kind of I feel like it was kind of a learning process for Hubie. We're going to see Hubert Davis eventually win a national championship as the UNC head coach. I feel like he'll be there for the next 20 years. But yeah, Kansas was such a better team. They were favored in the game going into it. They should have probably blown them out based on the Final Four matches.
I picked
you think UNC. You picked UNC. I picked Kansas. I picked Kansas, and it all worked out. But
3-point swing, baby. Either way.
Yeah, 3 point. And you caught it, man. You said all right. So let's go into the meme of the day, because the meme of the day is something we always do. And this one is related to the college basketball game that we saw yesterday. And UNC, after blowing a 15-point lead, they are the Atlanta Falcons of NCAA, and I love it. I absolutely love it because
that's fantastic. It's all blue.
It's all blue. And I'm from Virginia, and we see that Tar Heel, 3 shades of blue, because it's all Tar Heel. That's the Tar Heel official colors, and they literally gave up one of the biggest leads that you will ever see in the NCAA championship, and it was a debacle. Just the way that they were missing shots, the turnovers, everything.
That, but that's an F for fail. By the way, just in case for those that don't know,
the fail cons.
That's
it's terrible. It's terrible. But real quick, let them know where they can find you at, Rudy.
Yeah, you can go to @RudDogReyes. You can find me on Instagram. You can go to theruddogShow.com where this show will be posted, if not today, tomorrow. Make sure you like it, love it, comment on it. We enjoy those comments, share it. And, I just want to give a shout out to Barry, who being as consistent as possible and always making the show enjoyable. So
my guy. And I want to give a shout out to Rudy. I'm not gonna tip you. I'll tip my hat because we're coming up to the opening day. But yeah, shout out to Rudy, man, because you are my guy, man. It's been a long time coming, and things are gonna finally take off. But if y'all want to find me, you can find me on Facebook, the way it's written right there, Barry Long space II. You can find me also on IG at BarryLong_2, or you can find me on Twitter at Radio Barry Long. And what do we always tell people? Stay focused, stay motivated, and stay inspired. And remember, you are capable of what?
Doing anything.
So go out and do it. We'll see you tomorrow. Get her done.